Hey guys, know it's been a while. Uh, Holidays and all that goodness last off, but got some really cool news to share with you guys, both from before and coming up. So, start with prior. Last shift was actually my first HI shift. So, finally stepping up and getting to take charge of a group. And if you haven't seen the video where Alex, the other Alex, was beginning his first HI shift, then just to give you an idea of what HI is, they are the head instructor. If someone dies or gets frostbite in the group, then the HI is responsible. They're responsible for anything and everything that happens throughout the entire week for everyone in the group. They not only have to keep track of their particular one-on-ones for the kids as far as their therapeutic progress, they have to be aware of how each kid in the group has been behaving, acting, improving, or not throughout the week, and then report it to the therapists. So they're responsible for everything that happens. And with that, thankfully I had a small group, worked with the Eagles, and I had worked with each of the kids that were in there this past shift. However, there was snow all over the ground, and it was cold enough with the wind chill factor that it was effectively in the negative degrees for that first half of the shift. And thankfully, the second day we were out in the field, we got picked up by backup and taken to winter shelters, which are military tents. They're about 10 by 30 feet long, and we lived in that shelter for the entire week. And that's really unusual because we are a hiking program, and we at least about 3 days out of the total that we're out in the field will hike, preferably more like, should really be hiking more like 5 out of the 8 days. But because it was so cold, anyone that left the shelter at all for that first half had to be completely bundled up. It got to a point where I was telling them, okay guys, this is not our shelter. This is our space station, and we are about to go into space. So if you have any leaks or cracks in your suit, you're going to get sucked out of it, like at the end of Alien 4, which we'll pretend never exists. It never happened. But it was literally that cold, that if they left at all, they had to have every piece of cold gear on that they own. And we had a scare with one of the kids because we thought they might have gotten frost nip. They had a blister on one of their toes, and their boots had been kind of damp, which is super bad because as soon as they walk outside with any damp gear, shirt, pants, but especially socks or boots, that's when they're at a much, much higher risk for getting frostbite or frost nip. And if you don't know, then as soon as you get frostbite, you're more susceptible to it in the future. So if it happens to one of these kids, it's just going to become a perpetuating problem throughout the rest of winter for any staff that has them, having to make sure they constantly stay dry. So that, as a first HI shift, it was great that I only had 5 kids. I'd worked with all of them, and they're all great guys. But having the snow and having to melt snow for water and constantly be on top of that so that the kids have enough water to drink and enough to take showers, the snow did not help. And at the first few days, as I was trying to figure stuff out in terms of my style and way of doing things, I couldn't sleep properly because as I was lying in my sleeping bag, I was in this limbo stage of being asleep but being restless and being alert, to where anytime someone started making any sort of noise as they moved in their sleeping bag, in my mind someone needed to get up and leave the shelter to go pee at night. Meaning whenever anyone goes outside of a shelter at night, we have to be awake and listen for them and know that they come back safely. And especially now, we have to check their feet, make sure they're not tracking in snow or they didn't get their socks or feet or boots wet on the inside. And so we have to stay awake for that. And in my mind, part dream, part actually awake, I was just restless for most of the night. And there were some nights that I was just awake for half of them. But eventually, I became more comfortable and was able to actually get some decent sleep and get stuff done through the day more efficiently as I settled into a routine so that we got to bed earlier and I could actually have time to decompress a little bit and get some decent sleep. So it did get better as the week went on. It got warmer, snow started melting, didn't have to worry about frostbite as much anymore. I settled into a routine, started getting more sleep, so that was great. It was New Year's out in the field, and we all had split 3 pies, which was great. The kids had Chinese paper lanterns that we lit, and they assembled, and we watched them float into the sky. It was actually really cool to see amongst all the stars this yellow burning lantern just drifting and slowly fading away. And we kind of made it a little bit ceremonious. Told him, if there's anything you want to let go of, let the lantern represent whatever it is you want to let go of. And so that was really neat. With being HI, I definitely felt the stress through the week and then even after the week, which is a large reason why I didn't do a recap video as soon as I got out, because when I did get out, after taking a shower, instead of doing this as I normally do, first thing I did was go out and buy the $5 hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars, parked my car on an overlook above St. George, and just sat there for I don't know how long, downing an entire pizza by myself, just listening to music and reflecting. It normally by Thursday I'm ready to go do stuff and have fun, but I still felt the weight and the pressure for the next few days after coming out of the field. I'm told that gets better with time. Is you establish your routine and your style, and you get used to having to take care of stuff. But it definitely was different than what it has been coming off as a regular co-staff. Just not being able to fully decompress until a few days later. So we'll see whether or not that improves for me. I'm really hoping it does, and I think it will. So this shift, hopefully be HI again and continue to refine the way that I do stuff, get better at it, be able to keep everyone safe a little easier, and hopefully be able to sleep better at night. No idea what the weather holds, as usual, but I wouldn't be surprised if there continues to be snow out in the field, and this is the reality of work now. It's safety first, above anything whatsoever. Keeping the kids safe, making sure no one has frostbite, that there's always water to drink, whether that's busting through a few inches of ice at the cattle troughs to get water, or having to melt snow perpetually, since it's a pretty slow process. Looking forward to finally feel rested enough to be ready for work tomorrow, and whenever I come out, Wednesday, hopefully have a recap for y'all. So again, apologize that this is late and delayed, and I didn't do anything over the Christmas break. Was on pretty much constant travel that entire off, from the day we got off to right before shift on Tuesday. But if you're following this, I really appreciate it. And while I'm here, please check out my Patreon page. There's a video on it that explains what Patreon is and how it works. And if you're able to help out, it is with the deepest appreciation that I thank you. And even if you can't, it's totally fine. If you can tell friends and family about this and join me in this great adventure, I think this is a freaking amazing job, even when it's stressful and tough. So if you're following, thank you. If this is your first time checking it out, please subscribe. And if you can't find the subscribe button, it's in the little top right corner of the website. There's a little box with some lines. You'll find it there. But I will see you all on the other side.